Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times. Today I'm here to give you my spoiler-free review on a movie that I was actually really anticipating since I saw the teaser, and that is the new Netflix horror thriller Red Dot.
It's coffee time!
Since the moment I saw the teaser for this film, my interest was piqued. I think that they did a good job when it comes to the teaser to get people really interested in that story and leave it completely, you know, in a kind of a cliffhanger that you don't really know what's happening, and it looks really atmospheric and mysterious, and I was definitely interested. Now, when I started watching the film, my thoughts might have changed. So we are going to be checking out what the movie is about, what I thought about it in general, my rating, and if it's worth it or not. Everything spoiler free as always. If you're new here and if you love movies and horror collectibles, please consider subscribing before you leave and also hit the notification bell. Red Dot is a Swedish drama thriller film about Nadia, who becomes pregnant, and she and her boyfriend try to rekindle their relationship by traveling to northern Sweden for an excursion, but the romantic trip quickly turns into a nightmare. So at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to these very apparently normal couple that, as any couple, has their problems, they have their fights, and Nadia discovers that she's pregnant, and for a long time she keeps that away from her boyfriend. Now, after a big fight, he decides that, you know, it would be nice for the both of them to just take some days off, do a mountain hiking trip in, you know, the snowy mountains, and just camp and just have some time for themselves and kind of reconnect. On their way to the mountain, they stop at a gas station where they have an unfriendly encounter with two other guys that also stop there, and you start to get the feeling of where the movie is going to go. Then they stop at an inn where they're spending one night before camping outside to enjoy the nice views, and in that inn, in a kind of like motel where they stop, again these two guys appear, and I started to wonder if this movie was just going to be a super predictable, boring thriller. I started to get concerned. Basically, everybody they meet on their way looks a little bit weird. Something seems to be off with these people. You know, it gives you kind of those vibe of those typical thriller films in small towns where people tend to be a little bit creepy, tend to know too much about each other, things like that, and you start to get this unsettling feeling that something is off. This is one of the first things that made me be a little bit disappointed with the movie, because the trailer, this kind of teaser that we got, had set up the film to be very open to interpretation on what's happening, and when the movie started, I started to have the feeling that I could predict what's going to happen in the film, and I started to worry really that this movie was going to be a huge disappointment. But our couple does make it to their, you know, mountain where they want to camp, and they set up their tent and they are spending the night there. Very romantic, amazing, you know, visuals in the middle of the night, and suddenly there is this red dot that appears outside, and as we can see from the trailer, this red dot seems to be a threat to them, and you soon realize that it's basically somebody using a hunting rifle, that it's just hunting for them. Now, at this point, I was still not really engaged with the story or with the characters that much. I still had the feeling that this was a very, you know, tropey, convenient thriller, and there was nothing in it really getting my attention. One of my biggest issues with the film was not the acting. The acting was fine, but it is the characters. So actually, the guys that were being portrayed as the villains, I didn't have really a problem with them. I had a problem with our main characters, with our couple, because they were really unlikable. They were doing things that were kind of stupid and nonsensical, and you know, I get it. You are in extreme weather conditions, you are in the middle of nowhere, you don't know the way to your car in the middle of the night in the snowy mountains, and you cannot think straight sometimes. Like, I get it, and you start getting cold, you start getting into survival mode, and you might make mistakes. But like from the beginning of the film, I did not like the characters. I did not like their decisions. I did not see the point of the things they were doing or saying. Like, I couldn't really get into them. And you know, in a film where you're supposed to be rooting for the main characters to survive when they're being threatened, it's not convenient if you don't like the main characters. So the problem that I had apart from the characters is that because I was not invested in their story and I was not rooting for them, I was not feeling as much tension as I should have. It was not as thrilling as it should have because I was not connected to the characters, which I think is something really important for a good thriller, that you have this connection with the characters and that you're kind of suffering with them. They're being put through a lot in this film because not only are they being hunted, but they are in extreme weather conditions in the middle of the night where they're basically gonna end up frozen if they don't find cover anywhere. So even though the film was made to really build up a lot of tension, it didn't work as well for me, like I said, because of the characters. And there's also something that was done in the movie that I absolutely hated, that I cannot say anything about, but it's something really tropey. It is something that I've seen done in movies 1,000 times before, and in this movie specifically, it has no purpose. It doesn't change the plot of the movie. It has absolutely nothing to do, and I think it was completely unnecessary. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you what this scene was about, but it was just completely unnecessary. So the film did end up having some twists and some turns to the story that were not so easy to predict, and that is when I was really interested to find out more, and that was already the third act. That is when I was actually interested in the movie. So for me, the best part of this film was the last 20 minutes or so of the film, and it is very interesting because most people loved the beginning, hated that last third act, that ending, and for me it was the other way around. I did not like the first act, I really enjoyed the ending. So that is interesting to me. I seem to be the minority here. But even though I really enjoyed the ending because it was a little bit unexpected, it was disturbing and messed up, it still could not really save the film for me. Like, I was already lost. This is a movie that it's only 85 minutes, and it could have worked so much better. Like, it's another movie that I'm kind of mad that they did not use what they had, because once you know the twists and the turns, they could have, you know, this movie had so much potential, but I just did not like the execution of the first act. Now the movie does have really awesome visuals. It is shot in a beautiful place, the acting is decent, and I did find the ending rewarding. It could not save the whole movie for me, but I am glad I watched the movie. I'm glad that I sat through the whole 85 minutes. But all in all, it was kind of a letdown for me. I ended up giving this film 2.5 out of 5. That is for me basically the middle, which means I recommend you guys to give it just one watch, but it was nothing extremely special. And I'm kind of sad about it because, like I said, I loved the resolution, I loved the ending, but the beginning of the movie was really hard for me to sit through and enjoy because I was getting between annoyed and bored, and that was not helpful. But I'm glad that I sat through, like I said, because I really did enjoy that ending. So sad I cannot tell you about the ending, but if you decide to watch the film, let me know down below what you thought about the ending without spoilers, so that we don't spoil anybody. But let me know if you watched it, if you loved the ending or not. Alright you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this spoiler-free movie review of Red Dot, and let me know in the comments down below, is there any Netflix movie that's coming up soon that you are extremely excited about? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thanks so much for watching you guys. Please give the video a big thumbs up for support, and I hope to see you all guys in the next coffee time. Bye!